Welcome back. We are jumping right into a common Olympia SM7 problem. It's a flaw. Sorry, Olympia, you're a great machine. You made a great product, but you have a flaw, especially on the SM7s. It happens mostly on the SM7s. SM8, SM9, I haven't had as much use with those, so I can't really attest to their reliability in this situation. But on the SM7s, it's like a 20% chance that this thing is going to happen. Speaking of which, I have the culprit right here. I'll just leave that here for show and tell. That was from one I did recently, because like I said, this problem happens all the time on the Olympia SM7. And the problem that I'm discussing, first, I got this machine from a customer that was having this problem with their drawband. Their drawband would just every once in a while it would slip off and it would tangle up and it would get zipped up into the mainspring. And there's a reason for that. He also took it all apart. It showed up with the carriage like that, which normally is a bad sign. You get a typewriter in the mail and it looks like this, you're not having a good time. But in this case, it's fine because they took it apart correctly and it's just going to speed up my process, and I would have taken this off anyway. But the problem with the SM7, the Olympia SM7, and slipping your drawband or throwing your drawband and dealing with that hassle, it's the tab system, or more specifically the tab brake. And that's what I'm holding right here from the last tab brake that I did. I got my camera zoomed out or in and closer to my face hole so you guys can hear me a little bit better. So I'm gonna try my best to explain what is actually going on with this Olympia system, why it's flawed, and what this flaw does to cause the issue that it causes. When you press the tab key or the tab button and your carriage doesn't go anywhere, your initial thought is, I'll just give it a nudge. I'll push it, give it a little help along its way. And that's something that you don't want to do. If you have an Olympia SM7 and you're having tab issues and you press this tab key and your carriage does not move, that's because your tab brake system is seized up. Now the tab brake system is this tiny little drum that I'm pointing to right there. Let me see, maybe I can zoom out a little bit now with that. Excuse my poor planning. I have a weird setup here. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to lend a helping hand, share some knowledge here. This tab brake system, that's this drum right here, it runs with a gear that meshes in with this mainspring. And this mainspring has tooths. You see all these little ridges and teeth all around there. When you press this tab brake, or the tab key, this brake moves over this direction, you can see, and it has a gear that meshes with this, and that slows this mainspring down. So when you press the tab key, your carriage doesn't zoom to one side and slam and knock things off the table, spill your coffee, and it's noisy and not good for the machine. So they developed this tab brake. Now inside of the tab brake, this is how it looks on the machine. Oh, this is that drum This is that drum that I showed that's moving back and forth, and then the gear will be protruding from right here that meshes with that mainspring. And inside this drum are 4 pucks or brake shoes, just like a brake in a car. And it's got cork on all of these 4 quarters of this circle that rotate along inside there. And it's just an interference fit. It's just pressed up against there super tightly, so when this gear touches the mainspring and you press the tab key, this drum spins, and this interference, it slows the whole system down. It keeps it from zipping across on you. What happens over time, and what the flaw is with this Olympia system, is that this cork is such a tight interference fit that over time it swells up, and if any fluid or dust or dirt or oil buildup gets in there, you're done for. It's seized up. This drum is not going to go anywhere. And what you do and I do when that happens, we press the tab key. I'm trying to make this visualize without messing my own world up here. We'll just use the drawband, for example, and we'll see it happen right here in plain sight. Okay. when this is attached to the carriage, this is your drawband and your mainspring, and you're pulling the carriage back and forth. You go to press the tab key, and that tab brake kicks in. Now, your carriage isn't going anywhere. And when you start to move the carriage, you can see this drawband's going all slack on you. And while you're holding the tab key down, the mainspring should be spinning. It should be doing this, or it should be doing it at a slower pace, because this tab brake is just supposed to slow it down. It's not supposed to freeze this system. It shouldn't do this. It should still do this. Now what happens is when you press that tab key and you don't notice your carriage moving, and you start pushing this carriage this direction and this drawband goes slack, if you notice now over on this side, the drawband is not in contact with the mainspring drum. And then when you go to release this tab key, when you think, oh, I'm not fixing anything, this slacked drawband, it starts whipping around and getting tangled up and tied up inside of this drum, and you're having a bad day. And then you go and you fix it, and you put the drawband back, and it takes you 5 hours because you don't do it every day for a living. And then you press the tab key, and the same thing happens. And then you're stuck in this crappy cycle of, man, my drawband just keeps throwing over and over and over again. It's just the flaw of this system. Now, if you do have the issue where your carriage is over on this side, like you would normally be in a regular writing line in the start of the page, and you hit that tab key, and you decide, oh, I'm just going to go and give it a little help. And like we saw before, the drawband goes slack, you let go of the tab key, then next thing you know, bzz, there goes your drawband. If you run into this situation and you do want to give that tab a little help, go to the opposite side, okay? So the carriage is at the end of the line, and then that will bring your drawband all the way wrapped up into the mainspring, and it will be at its start of its process. Now you can press the tab key and only go this direction with the carriage, okay? And by doing that, you're engaging this tab brake, and you are forcing this drawband mainspring system to work against it, and a lot of times that will free up that stuck tab brake. But once you reach this end, let go of the tab key. Then restart your cycle again, go to the bell or wherever to the end of the page, and press your tab key, hold the tab key down, and go ahead and force that thing over to try to loosen up that tab brake, okay? Let go of your tab, and you're done. Never, never, ever push the tab key and make the carriage go this way with the tab key held down. It's just, you're gonna have a bad time. The remedy, so now we know the symptoms of thrown drawbands, and we know the reasoning behind it. Now there's the fix behind it. What we have to do to fix this tab brake and these swollen up cork brake pads or brake shoes, you're gonna have to clean that out, you're gonna have to lubricate it, and you're gonna have to hope that it works. A lot of times you can't get cleaner and lubricant inside of there because of the way that it's sealed up, and it's not conducive to that kind of maintenance. I have had success with taking a drill bit, a tiny drill, and drilling into the top of this drum and making a hole big enough for the straw of a lubricant or a squeeze bottle like so. And then once that hole is drilled in, you can introduce a cleaning solvent or a lubricant of your choice into the tab brake, and that should help free it. A lot of times that doesn't even work. A lot of times these shoes are so frozen and they're so swollen up that no matter what you do to it, it's not gonna go for you. In that case, your only other option is tab brake removal. And Olympia did their best to make this not easy. It's not an easy removal. I mean, it is. It's easier to remove than it is to put back because the way that everything is fit in here. But there's just a post that comes through the end of the drum, and at the end of this post here, there will be a C-clip, and you just take some pliers or a screwdriver, and you pop that C-clip out, and then you can go ahead and take this whole brake system out of the machine to either service it or go ahead and leave it off. A lot of guys, a lot of the old timers, when you talk about tab brake issues on these SM7s, they'll just go ahead and remove them. And I've been known to do that too, because putting them back in the way that it's all folded up inside there and wedged in there, it's just not a good time. It's not fun, and it's not an actually necessary component of this system. Excuse me. And what needs to be there for this system to work. And you'll be just fine without this tab brake. Every time you press the tab, your tab system, your carriage is going to fly quickly, more quickly to the side. But for the most part, we set tab stops all the way down the carriage just for that reason alone. Like when I'm doing a typewriter setup, I'll put tab stops every 10 spaces. That way, if I do hit that tab key, it's not going to slide and slam the carriage all the way to one side. So guys, I don't know how long this video is, but that's just a quick tech tip and a observation and experience I've had with these SM7 machines. And it seems to be, I've had tons and tons of Olympia machines all throughout the year, except 8s and 9s. I don't really work on those that often. But SM3, SM4, they don't seem to have this issue with the tab shoes, the brake shoes swelling up. It seems to be mostly on this SM7 model. So, Olympia, thanks for the memories. You got a flaw. You're still a perfect machine. You just don't age that well sometimes, and in some places. So guys, tech tip of the day, if you experience this issue, and now you know what to look for and what the culprit is and what the resolution is on that. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch you guys later.